Today's May 22nd, 2023. Today, I'm going to talk to you about what it takes to be an over-the-road truck driver. Over-the-road truck driver. Let's just say, let's define over-the-road by you don't sleep at home at night. Maybe you sleep in a motel or hotel. Maybe you sleep in a truck. Let's define it as that. Okay, so first of all, in my opinion, to make it in this business, the number one factor needs to be, in my opinion, this is just my view, you have to need the money. Okay? There are obstacles, challenges that you must meet or attempt to meet. And if you don't need the money, you're probably not going to put out the most effort, or you're going to find an out, a way around it, like, hey, come and get your truck. Trucking's just not for me. You know? And when you say, hey, come and get your truck, most likely, either you really shouldn't be a truck driver, or you have a source of money, a source of income, an alternate avenue of income. So what it takes to be a truck driver is probably the same thing it takes to be a bank robber. You need the money. Unless you're crazy and just like robbing banks and driving trucks for sport. You have to have the need for the money. Number two, you have to have endurance, and endurance under stress. I don't know if you've ever heard of a guy, everybody's heard of Houdini, right? So he goes underwater and he's in a straitjacket, all that stuff. One of the main guys that still kind of does that today is a guy named David Blaine. He's an endurance magician, endurance athlete. Well, that's what trucking is. It's an endurance game, okay? It's not... so you get in the truck, you have the license, you pass the test, all that. You even go to school. You even go out with a trainer. Then you get in the truck and, 4 or 5 hours into your solo career, you're still not in the trucking business. You're not in the trucking business until you're physically, mentally, psychologically, spiritually, emotionally exhausted. That's what the trucking game does. Now, in theory, your 10-hour break is supposed to take care of all that, okay? Yeah, right. It doesn't. So it's an endurance process. It's an endurance business. It's an endurance game. Okay. Now, how you act when you're not at your... when you're not like 5 hours into a nice little trip where you're going to go have some fun, No. When you're like 3 days into a trip and everything's gone wrong that could go wrong, and professionally and maybe at home, that's what you have to be able to endure. It's an endurance process. So if you don't need the money, don't become a truck driver. And I don't recommend becoming a bank robber. Not that I know anything about that, because I really don't. Okay, I have a Facebook friend that used to be a bank robber, but he did his time, okay, true confessions. But besides that, and I went to high school with a girl whose brother robbed a bank, okay? They all went to prison, so don't do that. Trucking's the better alternative, but you have to have some David Blaine qualities. You have to be able to perform when you're totally exhausted. Totally, emotionally, spiritually, psychologically, physically, all of it. When maybe you haven't been eating right, the nutrition hasn't been so good, the stress is coming from places you couldn't imagine. That's the test of the truck driver. I recommend, don't do it unless you need the money. Or you just like sports, trucking, sport trucking.